So I've never actually talked about this openly before, so let's just see how it goes. Hey guys, it's me, Aimee. If you are new to my channel, welcome. It is so lovely to meet you. If you have been here before, welcome back, and thank you all for tuning into today's video, which is going to be all about modeling with acne part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll link that in the description box below. But basically, it is all about some of the experiences I had when I first started out modeling and I had tons and tons of pimples all over my face. I definitely recommend giving that video a watch because it segues quite nicely into what I'm going to be talking about in today's video, which is going to be all about how I fixed my acne once and for all. But before we get into it, please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you can be the first to know whenever I post anything new. Alright, so part 1 ended with my experiences working in Taipei, where I basically had my contract canceled early because my skin was just so bad that I wasn't getting booked for anything. I was supposed to be there for 3 months, I think, and I left after like 2 weeks. Yeah, not a great situation. Obviously, by then I had been suffering with acne for a couple of years, and after trying all sorts of products and routines and have pretty much nothing seem to work, plus have blow after blow to my self-esteem and self-confidence about this really annoying issue, I decided enough was enough. I was gonna go see a dermatologist. I want to talk a little bit about that because before I went to a dermatologist, I actually felt kind of embarrassed that my skin was at a point where I actually needed to go see a doctor and get extra help, as if my skin was so bad that I couldn't fix it, and that translated into something that was like wrong with me in a sense. And honestly, that was probably what was really stopping me from going to a dermatologist way earlier on. So yeah, so I don't know, there was just a part of me that felt a little bit embarrassed that I had to go to a doctor. But now, thinking back at it, I can't believe how silly and stupid I actually was about this issue. Because honestly, why is there any shame in going to a dermatologist? There literally is none. They are there to help you. So for any of you guys watching who might be suffering from any kind of skin condition that makes you feel unconfident, self-conscious, basically anything but your best self, please don't feel shy to go and get some professional help. I was once in your shoes, I get it, but honestly, it is so worth it. Plus, there's nothing to be self-conscious about. I honestly think it was just my crazy self-conscious teenage mind overthinking. So when I went to the dermatologist, we had a really long conversation about how my skin got to this point, how it is going to affect my work as a model, and what my options were. The first thing that my dermatologist gave me were prescription strength topical creams. So these are creams that you cannot get over the counter because they have active ingredients in it that are above a certain percentage that makes it legal to be sold over the counter, if that makes sense. So you need to be getting it from a doctor through a prescription. So one of the creams had salicylic acid in it to kill the bacteria that was in the pimples that were already on my skin. And the second cream was a prescription strength retinoid, which is like a form of vitamin A. Basically what it does is that it promotes your cells to renew itself so that the younger, healthier, clear skin cells are brought up to the surface. It was obvious that I needed something that was a lot stronger than what I could get over the counter because so far, as I said, nothing I was using was working. And I was using, you know, salicylic acid, and I wasn't using retinols, okay, to be fair. So the difference between what I had, which was a retinoid, versus what you probably see at, you know, Sephora or any kind of beauty counter, which is a retinol, is that retinols are less concentrated so that you can buy them over the counter without the use of a prescription. So my creams you could only get from a dermatologist. In part 1 of my modeling with acne video, I briefly mentioned how I realized that me and my sisters all had, you know, bad skin genes. It turns out that part of the reason why we all had this issue was because our hormones were just out of whack. I don't know why. It was like a commonality with me and my sisters. When we hit our teenage years, we just had like horrible skin. It was just... So my dermatologist suggested that I start to take birth control to help control these hormones and any acne that results from it. What it does basically is that it helps control the body's production of androgens, which are the male sex hormones like testosterone. yes, everyone has male and female sex hormones. If you are a male, then you just have way higher levels of testosterone than estrogen. And if you are a female, then you have way higher levels of estrogen and progesterone than testosterone. Basically, higher levels of androgens circulating around the body leads to higher levels of oil production in the skin. Then your skin is more likely to get clogged, and then you get acne from that. So birth control is meant to help regulate that. So we started out with that for a few months, and it was helping quite a bit with the flare-ups and the breakouts. But, you know, being the stupid 18-year-old that I was, you know, I thought I could still keep eating whatever the fuck I wanted, not exercise, basically not take care of my body. So after trying that and my skin got a little bit better, I still had these really annoying comedones on my face, which were not poppable whiteheads or blackheads that you would normally see. They basically just exist on my skin as bumps, and they weren't going away. So when I went back to my dermatologist for a checkup, I told her about how these annoying little bumps were really bothering me and how it was affecting my work as a model and how important modeling was to me. After I properly was given a talk about how important it is to drink water, yep, you heard me, and eat healthy, because what you eat is reflected on your skin. That's right, guys. We discussed the possibility of adding in a stronger oral medication. Now, this was a really big decision because this medication is really strong. There are a lot of side effects to it, and it isn't something to be taken lightly. I never actually told anyone outside my close friends and family that I took skin medication because I always thought it was like something that was kind of not embarrassing, but something that was a little bit more personal. If you are suffering from acne, I wanted to share my experiences with you guys so you know that, you know, it wasn't always an easy road for me, and you know, it's definitely something that you guys can achieve as well. But anyway, the medication that I'm referring to is called Nimogen, and you probably know it better as the name Accutane. Basically, it is an oral medication that is used to treat acne when other methods don't seem to be working. And it reduces any oil gland activity in your skin, just dries it all up, and it clears up any inflammation like that. But the side effects were something else. Incredibly dry skin and super dry lips, both of which meant that I had to change my diet, drink more water, and make changes to my skincare by using heavier moisturizers and including facial oils in my moisturizers as well to really lock all that moisture in. Using very, very gentle cleansing oils to remove my makeup, using very, very gentle cleansers. All of that were changes that I needed to make to my existing skincare routine. But the scariest and most intense side effect, I guess, other than those two, were that if you did get pregnant, or if you were to get pregnant within 6 months of taking this medication, it would lead to really serious birth defects to my unborn baby. So that was just not an option. Like, that could not happen. I mean, I was 18, so I wasn't planning on having any babies anyway. But if you are watching this to see what you can do about your acne, and you are thinking about, you know, maybe having babies in the future, then this is definitely something that you need to properly sit down and talk with your dermatologist about. And if they prescribe you this medication without telling you all this, you need to go to a different doctor. You need to know every single possible side effect so that you can make an informed decision about what you put into your own body. Ultimately, I decided that I wanted to go for it. Oh my God, my skin was so dry. I really had to take tons of extra steps in my skincare routine to stop flaking, which sometimes happened anyway, especially around, you know, the corners of my mouth and underneath my nose. I always had to carry heavy moisturizers with me wherever I went. I always had to bring lip balm. Actually, that was when my obsession with lip balm started, because it was so drying to my lips that if I didn't have lip balm on, it would sting, and it would sometimes even crack. But most of all, I also changed the way that I ate. So I stopped eating tons of fried foods. I stopped really eating a lot of, you know, unhealthy sugary foods as well. I drank a lot more water, and one of the things that I did was I put lemon in my water bottle to kind of help detox. I don't know, and it just makes water taste a lot nicer as well. And I also started exercising, so any like gunk that was in my skin, I would just end up sweating out. So all of that, all these extra steps that I took to make a lifestyle change also really helped with clearing out my skin. I also started to do a lot of research to educate myself about skin and skincare. I learned what retinols were, what AHA, BHAs were, why cleansing oils are great for sensitive skin like mine, all that kind of stuff. In total, I was on this medication for about 6 months, and by the end of it, my skin was absolutely perfect. I mean, actually, no, it wasn't perfect. I still had some acne scars from when I had really bad pimples, but that's okay. It's fine. But I also want to make it incredibly clear that this medication is not an absolute solve-all. It was a combination of balancing out my hormones, using proper creams, taking care of my skin properly, taking care of my health properly, drinking a lot of water, and using this medication. While I was taking this medicine, honestly, it was kind of uncomfortable because just imagine your skin is so dry that it would sting when you put proper moisturizer on because it is just that dry. And sometimes when I'm on set for a shoot, you know, makeup artists always like to bring their preferred products to use on the model. Sometimes if it's just a little bit too strong or it's got a little bit too much alcohol or perfume in it or whatever it is, it would just sting. It's really painful. And yeah, like I said before, my lips were so dry that if I didn't religiously put on lip balm, then they would sting and sometimes even crack. This was really my last resort to a problem that was really affecting me, to something that I really wanted to fix once and for all. But in the end, I do really think that it was worth it. After I was done with this medication, and you know, still to this day, I am still, you know, constantly learning about skincare, learning, you know, innovations in the skincare industry to make sure that I am fully informed about what I am putting on my face, what different ingredients are, what's a good ingredient, what's a bad ingredient. Basically to continuously to tweak and perfect my skincare routine to make sure I cover all bases, that my skin is clean, protected, and moisturized. And also to make sure that whatever I was putting in my body was helping it and not harming it. And I think that's a very easy rule for you to think about. When I started thinking like that, first of all, it got my fitness back on track, but it also really reflected on my skin. So going through all this really set the foundation for the incredible importance that I place on my body, my fitness, my health, my skin, not just for work, but also to be able to live a healthy, long life and also to be able to chase my dream job. So this was really just my experience dealing with acne that was so problematic that nothing was helping it. But that's definitely not to say that products that you can buy over the counter aren't helpful, because they definitely are. You know, through my years of research and experimentation after I was done with this medicine, I have found so many favorites that I still use to this day. Products that I can never live without because, you know, even though now years after I'm done taking this medication, I still have some bad skin days where I break out more than usual, like especially when I was in university, that was happening tons. It was very stressful, but I also have good skin days because I learned how to properly take care of my skin. Ultimately, you should remember what I mentioned before, which is that your health is reflected on your skin. So you take care of your health and that would show. If you are having issues with acne or other skin problems and you don't know where to start, hopefully hearing my story can give you some reassurance that, you know, what you're going through is not uncommon. I was once, you know, just as confused and didn't know what I could do about it. I also felt very concerned, and most of all, I felt very helpless. Hope you guys found this video interesting and hopefully helpful in some way or another, and I wish you guys all the best. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.